Cary just took off his headphones and disappeared out the left side of the frame. I assume he's picking up a 80, 90 pound dot matrix printer.
90 pound.
I don't know how much. They were heavy.
Come back with Maniac Mansion too, hopefully.
Probably.
And I'm curious to know if they end up going a specific operating system route for Project Helix, kind of how SteamOS exists for the Steam Deck and then starts rolling out for other devices.
I think it is going to be a low price. It's going to be like the price of a standard-ish controller made by Valve.
They can sometimes put that cart before the horse.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. We've started the show like 6 or 7 times. I can't remember how many at this point, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to stick with this one no matter what happens. And I am your host, Bill Fairchild, and I am joined today by special guest Alan Sujano, who runs the YouTube channel Mr. Sujano. How's it going, Alan?
It's going great. It's Friday night. We've got a whole weekend ahead of me, and every day is a day closer to camping season.
Camping season. I thought that you were already out in the woods because your green screen is so good.
Oh, yeah, not a green screen. This is totally real. My arm doesn't get cut off by going that way.
Awesome. All right, and that chuckle that you just heard in the background was Russ, a.k.a. Retro Game Core. How's it going, Russ?
Dude, I'm just excited to be here, hang out with Mr. Sujano. We've never talked before, so this is all new to me. He's emulation royalty. I want to call him Lord Sujano. You know what I mean? That's how excited I am right now. So
that sounds good. Are you going to change the name of your channel to Lord Sujano?
Maybe. I was debating on doing Super Sujano because we got Super ZSNES, we got Super SNES 9X,
nice.
And I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Awesome. And then we're also joined by Cary, a.k.a. The Fox. What's going on, Cary?
Hey, guys. It's always nice to talk to you guys. How's everything?
It's going good. I have a mountain of work ahead of me because my Steam controller showed up today, and I've got the podcast to record, and then I got to edit the podcast, and I got to make my video, and I got to edit the video, and I'm going to try and squeeze all of that in tomorrow, which is going to be a tall order because my computer is going to be very busy rendering this podcast. So that means I can't use it for most of the day, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about video game and video game news, and we will get to Steam controllers in a little bit. But I want to start with this tweet from Brad Lynch, a.k.a. Sadly It's Bradley. Somebody made a comment when we mentioned him last time. They're like, why is everybody sad? I think he's a nice guy. That's his username. Anyway, so Sadly It's Bradley posted over on Twitter, and I don't know where I found this article, but they linked to a different website that just hosts Twitter stuff. But here's what he said. He said, Valve is receiving a ton of game consoles, he did that in quotes, these past couple of weeks in their USA distribution warehouse. And then if you look at where's the stop sharing button? And then the other thing that we can see is now we can also see the the actual shipment data, which there's a bunch of stuff that's hidden, but you can see on April 23rd, game consoles, on April 18th, game console, April 18th, game console. Tons of game consoles are showing up at their distribution warehouses. And the last time that he made a tweet like this, right afterwards, we saw the announcement for, well, not right afterwards. I can't remember how many days it was, but shortly afterwards, we saw the announcement for the Steam controller, and that we would actually be able to buy it. So that makes me wonder, and I'm asking this to all of you guys, do you think that this means that the Steam machine or the Steam frame, because a game controller could be either of those things, and do you think that whichever one it is right around the corner, and Valve is basically spreading out the launch so that we are constantly talking about Valve stuff all the time? What do you think, Russ?
Can I just take a second and say, it's so crazy that we're all on a podcast looking at shipping manifests and customs data and extrapolating from that. It's just crazy. Also, it just says gaming console, so this could be Steam Deck too. Like, we can't rule out everything. You know what I mean? So they might have just skipped all the other ones and like, oh, Steam Deck too. I'm kidding. But yeah, I think that this is a sign that, yeah, maybe something's happening. I mean, we suspected from the last one with the Steam controllers that it was review units, maybe early units and stuff like that. And I think that was fairly right. And so, I don't know. It seems pretty near. It's exciting. And I think it's funny, the idea that, oh, they just really want to be talked about all the time. That's what Valve really wants, you know? That's why they're doing this.
I mean,
but yeah,
it is a good way to manipulate like when, like how often they're being talked about. Because if they release everything at once, then everybody talks about everything at once and then they move on to the next thing.
Sure. Yeah, it's valid. But yeah, I think it is probably more imminent. I still think it's probably the Steam Machine over the Steam Frame. I don't know if they can do the Steam Frame without the Steam Machine.
Interesting. Okay. Cary, you just shook your head.
Yeah, so like as Russ said, so sadly, it's Bradley, I think, was actually ahead by like 2 weeks when he first noted that Steam controllers were coming in. And then if you look at SkillUp, he said in his own review of the Steam controller that he had it for over 2 weeks. So it seems like when Salades Bradley said that they were landing, almost a day or so afterwards, the first round of reviewers got Steam controllers. So it would stand to reason now that Salades Bradley, with all of his intense data mining that he does, he's probably on the button here, and it's more than likely that Steam machines are going out. It seems a bit weird to me that they would do Steam controller first and then like a week or so later, like 2 weeks later, do the Steam machine then, because that's like not a whole bunch of time. And to me, it's, you know, when we first started talking about it, we were we were talking about the bundle pricing of $1,200 for all three. Mm-hmm. And now they've disconnected that idea. So now it's Steam controller first, much more expensive than a lot of people anticipated. And now, you know, they have to have the Steam machine and Steam frame. And like Russ had mentioned, the Steam frame is not going to be very powerful. So it does kind of need the Steam machine as well. If no one has a computer, well, you know, like if no one has a good enough PC to stream games with that foveated streaming tech that they have, because likely the Steam frame will come with the dongle for streaming. So it seems weird to then just do the Steam machine. Like, are they just going to do the Steam machine now? Like, are they just do the Steam controller? And that seems really weird to me because, I don't know, pricing is going to be a real pain point for them. So it's a difficult time for them, especially at this time. They're not winning here.
Alan, what do you think? Do you think it's what's your gut tell you? Do you think it's the Steam machine or the Steam frame?
Yeah, it's got to be the Steam machine first. I think Russ, was right on the money with that. I really don't foresee the frame coming out before the Steam machine. And I also think they still have some more left to do with effects and whatnot. I mean, if you watch the GitHub, if you watch all of that, they're coding like crazy. So it just seems so early though for the Steam machine in relation with the controller. I didn't realize they'd be doing such a big bang approach so quickly, if that is the case. But I mean, sadly, it's Bradley is a reliable source so far. So I just don't know on this one. It's a very interesting time frame.
Oh, Russ, you're muted.
Sorry. So I want to say this not to pat myself on the back, but didn't we call it as Memorial Day weekend? And that's like, what, 3.5 weeks out? So I don't know. Like maybe there's some truth in that. I mean, we were guessing, you know, and not really factoring in Rampocalypse and stuff, but man, maybe. We'll see.
By the way, last time you mentioned Memorial Day weekend, everybody who doesn't live in the U.S. got mad at us for not telling them what that date is, which I'm bad with calendars. Memorial Day is on 2 weeks from now, right?
Yeah, it's
so
May
like
25th.
May 25th. Okay, so May 25th. That makes a lot of sense.
3-day weekend, yeah.
That'll be rough because I'm going to be in London and Russ is going to be in Taipei. So it's just like, although I don't even know when the hell I'm going to be getting a Steam machine at this point, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, they're all going to they have to take our calendars into account when they come up with their schedules. So they're watching this, obviously, they'll figure this out.
Well, okay. So I want to push back a little bit on the idea. I mean, Alan, you bring up a really good point about FX and they're still kind of building the plane. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the Steam machine has DDR5, LP DDR5. No, not LP, just DDR5 memory, and the Steam frame has LP DDR5X memory. And from my understanding, it's easier to get the LP DDR5X memory because it's low power and it's not the kind of stuff that that you put in data centers. So it's a little easier on the pocketbook to pick up. And that makes me think with the RAM situation that maybe they push the Steam frame first. And you might say, well, with the Steam frame, you got to have something to hook it up to. I mean, a lot of people, their first VR headset required a very beefy PC to run, and they were like, go ahead. And it sold very well. I mean, I don't know how well it sold. I assume it sold well, or otherwise they wouldn't be doing this again. So I do think it's possible that it could just be the Steam frame first, but Alan is the one that kind of twisted that idea and made it so I'm like, oh, maybe not, because FX is still... like they're still building the train or whatever.
So one thing I want to point out is that I don't, whatever. When I had the Steam Deck during the preview round, they weren't ready at all. It wasn't ready. Like the haptics were so busted that the rumble was just max rumble, and it was just like bleh. It was like awful. And it was like, they were like, just don't worry about that. It'll be fixed in a few days. So like it was, while we had them, it was the tracks were being laid in front of the train quite literally. So the idea that they would wait a little bit is not, I would just say that it is not unprecedented that they wouldn't have the Steam frame out and then just like, oh crap, let's do stuff. Because it's happened before.
Yeah.
Not only has it happened before, but I would say you said the preview time. It was the entire first year of the Steam Deck that they were putting
my
those
retail
tracks
one
down.
also had all sorts of issues too. Yeah, so it's like they can sometimes put that cart before the horse.
Right.
All right, let's talk about the price of the controller, because the price of the controller is quite is quite interesting. Cary, you got a dot matrix printer back there?
What?
I don't know. Alan said it sounded like you had a dot matrix printer in the background somewhere.
No, so there was someone that tried coming in through the door and then closed it. So that's
he turned around and looked at him, and they just turned into a ghost.
Yes,
sounded like the startup of the dot matrix going.
I actually I do have a dot matrix printer here. It's a Commodore dot matrix printer.
Of course you do.
It's literally right over here. I could get it if I could just reach to this, but I would show it to you. But
okay, no, hold on.
Joke was gonna.
Before we go on to the Steam controller, why do you have a dot matrix printer in 2026?
I have, long story short is like there was like an estate stuff thing, and there was a whole smattering of Commodore 64 stuff. Like, I mean, this dude had dual disc Commodore 64, the Commodore 64 monitor, keyboard, everything, the modem, multiple joysticks, a dot matrix printer. It was like as if, and that was it. He had no other computers, nothing, just a Commodore 64 up until a year ago, since forever, and a mountain of software. So I have like Maniac Mansion, Inbox, Commodore, like a whole bunch of stuff, and it had a dot matrix printer as well. So it's the whole kit and caboodle. But it almost seems like the dude won like a sweepstakes, like, because it's like absolutely, it's like, and $5,000 worth of software, because like it is nonstop Commodore 64. Like this is all this dude did, and he had like a modem and everything. It was it's pretty intense. So that's why I currently have a dot matrix printer actually right next to me.
I was gonna make the joke that someone came down there and was like, I need a Magnavox Odyssey 2 right now. And you're the only person in the state of New York that has one. You know, there's some person needing some random old school tech. So.
I promise we're going to get to other stuff soon. But do you have the paper with the little holes on the side that is loaded into it?
No, I don't think I don't. I just have it also got kind of busted a bit. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like I just have it like, oh, that's kind of cool, and I don't know what to do with it really. So I haven't decided on anything just yet.
I will say I used to have one of those. I used to have the Commodore 64 printer, And so
nice.
I like got rid of that in the 90s, but man, that was cool.
It is cool. I just wouldn't want it in my house because it takes up room. And we scared him off.
Go get it.
He's gonna go get it. For the audio listeners, Cary just took off his headphones and disappeared out the left side of the frame. I assume he's picking up a 80, 90 pound dot matrix printer.
90 pound.
I don't know how much they were heavy.
Come back with Maniac Mansion too, hopefully. We'll
Probably. All right. Well, anyway, let's move. I don't know what he's doing. So let's talk about the Steam controller for a little bit. Oh, no, there we go. He doesn't have headphones on, so he can't hear us.
That's beautiful.
It's
Those
just the
memories,
right
man.
color of yellow, too. All the electronics turned yellow.
Was
Just
it
to
always
give
that yellow?
No. It needs that retro bright stuff. This is the Commodore MPS 1200. I don't know if you had this exact model.
I can't remember. But
No, I didn't have a Commodore printer. I had a Commodore 64, but not a printer.
So if you see this, the dude numbered all of his stuff because where is it? On the side, right over here. All of his stuff connected up, and he had like this multiplexer that he would like switch things to, so that he knew which one it would like connect to. So he had like the disk drives and everything, so that like dude had like the craziest Commodore 64 setup. It was like dude was super hardcore, and then never bought another computer in his life. This is really bizarre.
If you have that kind of setup that's Commodore 64, do you really need any other computer? I mean, you're set. All right. Let's move on and talk about the Steam controller. So Russ and I both have review units that mine came in this afternoon. I have had no time to mess around with it other than just like getting B-roll and stuff. So I've played very, very, very few games with it. Russ has a whole review out. I always watch all of Russ's videos. I have not watched this review because I haven't watched any reviews because I want to make up my own mind before I watch any of those reviews, and then I will binge all of the other reviews that are out there. But, well, first I want to talk a little bit about, and I hear what Russ has to say about it, and I do have a few thoughts that they're not fully formed yet because I've had so little time with it, just like a couple hours. And then I want to talk about what everybody here thinks of the price of it. So, Russ, you've got the controller in your hand. What do you think about it? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you're holding it in your hand? What's your top line, your headline?
Yeah, number one thing for me, like in my impression section of the video, was just like it's so familiar. Like it's just it's like it feels a lot like a Steam Deck, in many ways. I did the measurements and like actually measured every single component against the Steam Deck. They're all completely different, but just similar. Similar enough that they just feel familiar. Trackpads are a little bit bigger, D-pads bigger, face buttons are bigger, like all that stuff. But it still feels like it, And that was the biggest thing for me. It was just kind of like, it's not a revolutionary experience for me. It was just like, oh yeah, this is great, And that's a great feeling. It's a good feeling. It's not a bad thing. And so that was my big takeaway there. Connectivity and all that stuff is still very complicated and interesting. And I think it's not done yet because there are things that are supposed to work that work for other people with other controllers, like the original Steam controller. They don't work with this one yet. So there are a couple additional things that need to be fixed. So, if you go into, I know this stuff intimately now, but go into controller settings, advanced settings, and then there's like an option for like a desktop mode. And then you can go and configure your desktop mode to have it do different buttons on your desktop. And then there's a gamepad mode next to that. And you can alternate between the two by pressing and holding start. None of that stuff is picked up in Windows at all. So you can set all that stuff up and like make it a gamepad in both modes and then start up a game and it won't be picked up. You can do that on Steam controller, no problem. The old one, not the new one. And so little things like that, even launching a non-Steam game through Steam, through Xbox, like an Xbox game, like you get from Game Pass, most of the time doesn't work. So just little things that I think just need to be fixed in the future.
Kind of like they're laying down the tracks while the train's charging down the.
Yeah, I mean, a significant, maybe like 5% of all the comments, like 1,100 comments I've seen so far on my video, a good 5-10% of them are people be like, why didn't you just put in desktop mode? It works just fine for me. You don't know how to use Steam input. And I'm like, well, sorry, I tried. And it's one of those things too. My video is 48 minutes long. And I was like, I'm not going to nitpick everything I don't like. I'm just going to show the solutions. And so I showed an app called Scissor. Are you familiar with that one? SISR. So essentially, it's a Windows app and it used to be called Glossy, and now it's called Scissored.
Yep.
And,
Yes, I do remember this. Yeah.
And so this will basically capture all your Steam inputs at the system level, and then convert them to X input. And so then you just turn on that app, run it in the background in Windows, and everything will work. And so that's what I showed. I was like, this is how to fix it, as opposed to showing you all the ways it's broken. And so some people were like, no, you should fix it the other way. And it didn't work, but I just didn't talk about it.
And your one question I did have, because I paid attention to your review, I was a little bit disheartened with the compatibility chart you posted, but I'm going to guess that's hopefully going to get better as time goes on. With Bazzite Linux that you tested it out, was it compatible with virtually everything on there, or was it Steam within Bazzite?
Everything worked as I expected. Like it felt like running SteamOS. Like plugging in my Steam Deck felt the same as running on Bazzite. But another interesting thing that I was just so surprised this morning when I tested it after someone asked, is that it doesn't wake your console from sleep. It doesn't wake your Steam Deck from sleep. It doesn't wake your Bazzite computer from sleep at all. It wakes your Windows computer from sleep, and I show that in the video, but not the other two. And that's because the Windows mode is just, if it's not connected, it's just a mouse. And so it's like shaking a mouse, you know what I mean? And that will wake up your computer, unless it's like all the various layers of hibernation or whatever. And so that one works, but on the other ones, nothing works. Plug it in directly, puck, nothing. So I cannot imagine the Steam machine's going to come out and you can't wake it from sleep with the Steam controller. It's going to have to happen. So I think it's just a firmware update on their end.
Okay, so a couple things that I want to say real quick. Number one, I plugged it into a Windows machine, and I happen to have that Windows machine as in the Xbox mode. So I would be able to pick up any other controller, push a button, and then it wakes up. Well, you can't wake it that way, but I hit the button and it's like, okay, you have to put in your PIN, and I can put in my PIN with the buttons now that Xbox mode exists. Yeah. So I hooked this up to a Windows machine that was running the Xbox mode. I shake the little trackpad so that it says, oh, hey, wake up. It woke up. None of the buttons work because Steam isn't running. And so I can't do the PIN. And so then I needed a little keyboard to put in my PIN so that I could try it. Not that I'm going to be using this with a Windows machine anyway, but a lot of people are, and that's like one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, for what it's worth, that's my actual intention for it.
Right. Then you're going to run into those problems where you can't put in your PIN.
I mean, right now
it's not a controller yet.
That's bizarre. Like, I already use an Xbox controller for all of that already. Like, I have it wake. I actually do have a wake my thing, but I have the Xbox adapter. And then I just press the Xbox button and I go to the PIN. I enter my PIN. I'm in, and then I have a whole mouse mode thing that I can toggle between. So my hope was that I was just going to use. Truthfully, my hope for the Steam controller was to really lean on gyro. I'm glad that it wakes the machine. I totally missed that part in your video. I don't know why I didn't. Well, I was at work, but the whatever. I'm glad that that's there. It's weird that it's not on Linux, but perhaps there's gonna be something along the way where you like press the Steam button and it's like, actually, when you press the Steam button, do something. On Bluetooth, it makes sense that it wouldn't, but through the puck, that's odd.
Yeah, even plugged in wired. Yeah, I was surprised with that, and it's just something I assumed was going to work fine. But I was mostly, yes, I know a lot of Steam fans and Valve fans and everything else. They're going to be using Linux. They're going to be using SteamOS or Bazzite and stuff. Totally get all that. And I think those people don't need to be told how a controller is going to work like this. They probably already have figured it out. So I really did focus my video on Windows users because, like it or not, they're the majority of gamers in the world, so I was like, these are the people who want to hear this kind of stuff. And so that's why I took a more kind of casual approach. And I was like, hey, what's an everyman going to have when he starts this thing up? I totally did miss one thing. And that was that I spent, several minutes whining about how, there's times when you start up a game, you close a game, and then Steam is not in focus and you can't click on it unless you get a keyboard to click on it. And then you can start moving your controller around. I forgot that you can press and hold the Steam or the QAM button and then move the trackpad at the same time, and that will activate the mouse. I'd forgotten all about that quick shortcut, you know. And it's one of those because I just rarely ever use that function because on the Steam Deck I just tap on the screen if I need that, you know, and that's like my big thing. So I totally missed that one. That's one of the reasons why I'm probably going to do a follow up this weekend.
The Steam controller people, like that niche group. I'm in 2 different Steam controller Discord channels, and those guys are hardcore. Like they talk, and like when last I made my video, when we just learned that it was a $99 price when that leak came out, and I made the video, I had people pinging me about it because I had mentioned that I wanted to try gyro, and they're like, "Oh, you should do this, that, and the other, and you should also do acceleration. You should also do this." And I'm like, "I've done all that, and I don't know, wasn't really gelling with it." And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna try to ratchet with it?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that terminology is, but it's like, like to basically engage the gyro, so you ratchet into gyro rather than gyro being on all the time. So there is like." Actual words, like there's a whole terminology that is foreign to me, so that's probably the bigger thing that I'm going to be getting into. So I likely won't, I have to buy my Steam controller first, then when I do get it in, I'm likely not, I'll make like a 6-month video of like my journey with gyro. Like,
oh, nice.
Did I win this battle? So that's where I'm going to be going with it, and I'm going to be doing it mostly on my PC console, which I'm going to be using it for, like wake my machine and do all the other stuff. So that's right. My particular like use case. But it's unfortunate because the X input side doesn't have any gyro part of it, so it's going to be like shoehorned in there some way. So I have to really figure out how I'm going to do this at all, and I can still run Steam games and then do it that way. But I kind of want to also include some way to get this working on X input. But yeah, still super excited. But we can go to the price, or if anyone else has anything to say, I'm gonna mute myself.
I don't think I have anything else to bring up right now. Oh, Russ, grip sense.
Yeah,
how do you feel about it?
It's good. I showed in my video. I like people are mentioning it's like tied to gyro, and I think that's actually something that Steam put on their page. They were like, "Oh, you can use this, and it'll detect it's that way when you're using gyro." I'm not using it for that. So I put it in my video, and you haven't seen it, Bill, but I'm using it as just other functions. So my example was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So a Metroidvania where you're going back and forth between the map all the time, as you're going through. So I set it up where when I release my hand on the left side, it presses the select button, which brings up the map. So if I'm just playing and I want to see the map really quickly, I just pull my hand off really quick. Then I just pull it off again, and it'll go right back to not being on the map. And so that I found really handy. Other than the times that it just happens when I don't mean to, like when I'm reaching for a button or something and it thinks that I've released it, and then it just makes the map show up. So it's a double-edged sword, I would say, in that regard, but still pretty cool. There needs to be an option to adjust the sensitivity of it. That's what I really want, because I want to lower that sensitivity. Is there? I didn't see it.
I'm going to have to look. I haven't had a whole lot of time with it, but I think there is.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm going to make a note of that for my follow-up video.
I learned because I think someone from Valve actually told me this. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure. The reason why they keep on advertising grip sense with gyro is because the DualSense has a conductive tape mod that people use to engage gyro on the DualSense, and they looked at that mod that people have done as we should totally do that.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so that was what was relayed to me by someone I believe actually does the gyro stuff on the Steam controller. If I recall correctly, I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but that was the mod that I recall, like, being aware of, and I didn't know that mod existed because I'm not really I don't really do gyro. I want to, but I'm so far removed from that community. But that's what I was informed of. That's why they keep on mentioning it. So when I saw your video, Russ, and I saw exactly what you were saying, I got super discouraged. Because my whole thing was like, oh, yeah, grip sense. This is going to be the thing that I need to, like, I was figuring, like, I would hold it and, like, do something. And it seems like it's just way too sensitive of, like, you're just holding it and it's already activated. And I'm like, I don't want that at all. Like, that's not helpful.
Right. It's basically always on at that point.
Yeah. So when I saw your video, I was just like, I was, like, disillusioned. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I was already prepared to, like, dive into gyro, and I feel like I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm still going to like force myself into it. But yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if there's like a something to come out with like sensitivity of like how much grip sense activates or something later
Yeah.
on, maybe, possibly. I have no idea.
You know, another
Yeah.
thing someone
Oh,
brought
go
up in a
ahead.
comment was that, you know, for emulation, because you can just, so what I did is I just put Emulation Station as a non-Steam game. Then when I launch Emulation Station, all the emulators underneath it, all of that's working fine with Steam input. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. That worked great. But then someone mentioned, oh, you could do save states by just like save state by releasing, load state by doing the other hand. You know,
that's a
something like
terrible
that. And
idea.
so
Never like
maybe not the
saving a
load
state. Not load. Goodness gracious, not load. Like wait, it's like right to reload or left to load, right to reload. Oh crap! I reloaded when I wanted to save. Like incrementing save states for sure, but to like load, ooh, that would be brutal.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It'd be fun. It'd be a good challenge. You know, you're playing against somebody like, here, you take
Dude,
this controller.
You're like, that's emulating way too hard. If you're just like, oh, I gotta get past this part. Like, oh, this is so much quicker. It's not like you're playing like the Super Meat Boy version of any emulated game. You're like, oh, I died. Let me reload. Oh, I died. Let me reload.
We should make a grip sense one where when you release both at the same time, then it turns it into Mad Catz mode where the buttons just suck, you know, and then you hand it to somebody. You're like, here you go, here's your controller.
Well, also the controller's in free fall at the moment since you're not holding onto it at all. It's like, there it goes.
The only thing like for grip sense, the one thing that jumps out at me, and you kind of mentioned it already, is you have it set to where when you let go on the left, it brings up your map or whatever. But I thought, what if I just set the controller down? I don't hit pause. It just automatically hits the start button when I release both sides at the same time.
I think you could set something. There's a bunch of grip sense options within there. There's like a double tap, which I think is actually a really clever one that you maybe, you know, just double tapping with your hand. Like there are little things I think that are going to be very creative, like resources. And so I do want to dive a little bit more into that. I just really did a fundamental, but then I was like, man, I kind of want to play with this more.
Well, instead of having us, go ahead, Alan.
I was even thinking about, you know, games like Baldur's Gate 3 or ones where you need a little bit more control that could really come in handy.
Yeah.
Like how would it be useful in Baldur's Gate 3? I'm curious.
However you'd want to use it. I mean, if you're a spellcaster, that could be extremely useful if you're going through the menus or just wanted something quick map to it. It's just, I was even thinking like when Russ was saying for emulators, fast forward and rewind, but at the same time, just a lot of like, I see the versatility and for me personally, I'd probably just have it turned right off because I'd be activating it by accident. But
yeah, I can't wait to actually get time to try this thing out so that I can get an idea of what you can do. Like I said, all I've done so far is shoot B-roll and play like one game. But I'll have a video. Maybe it'll come out tomorrow. Who knows? And that means yesterday by the time you see this. I don't know what's going to happen. But instead of having the three of us just sit here and interrogate Russ, because next week, probably I'm guessing all four of us will have a Steam controller in our hands because they go on sale on Monday. And so therefore we'll be able to talk more extensively after actually having really extended period of time with it. So let's talk about the price real quick, because I saw so many different takes on this. This is definitely a contentious price. There's one part of the internet that is like, that is way too expensive, I'm out. There's another part that is like, no, I can't believe it's only $99. And then there's the third part that's like, yeah, I think $99's okay. And so before we actually say whether we think $99 is a good price, a bad price, or an okay price, here's my question to you guys. We look at controllers all the time. We have standard controllers and then we have premium controllers. When you're looking at a standard controller, generally those are going to be somewhere between $50 to $70. If you're looking at a premium controller, those are usually somewhere between $100 and $200 or even more dollars. And the thing that separates standard controllers from premium controllers are usually swappable D-pads, swappable sticks, extra buttons on the back, extra features that regular controllers don't have. So my question to you guys, is, do you consider the Steam controller to be a regular controller or a premium controller? What do you guys think? Cary?
So I do consider it having premium features, but at the same time, it's almost like proprietary, because it really does require Steam to be loaded to actually function, or you're using some other type of third-party app to actually make it function. So that is a huge negative towards it, because a lot of people are just connecting a controller and then having it just operate. And obviously Valve would rather that, but X Input doesn't have all the things that they want for their feature set, so this is a compromise that they're making. But the reality is that this is still an inconvenience for a lot of people that are not in Steam or not launching a game directly from Steam or whatever, what have you. So at the same time, like the TMR sticks, the analog sticks that are on there, they're a more costly part, and then you're going to not have all the stick drift that you get from potentiometers. So there are those premium types of features. I still kind of feel like it's a DualSense like, and a DualSense is like $75 ish, $80. So I don't think that the price is too far off. Personally, I think it's kind of okay. You know, in all the extenuating circumstances of like shipping, logistics, all the other stuff, maybe that's more expensive. So I could see it. Maybe they were trying to shoot for $70 to $80 initially. So I find it to be standard insofar as the DualSense world of controllers. You're muted.
That's right. Thank you. I was typing. I don't know where I saw this, but you just said maybe it was supposed to be cheaper. I think that I remember reading that it was supposed to be cheaper than this, but because the price of shipping things has gone up recently, that's why they bumped the price up to $99. Now, I don't know if that's 100% sure.
I read it as well.
Like you did. Okay. I wasn't sure if I was just making shit up.
Yeah.
Okay, Alan, same question. What do you think?
I would put this in a different category under maybe specialized controller. I wouldn't necessarily say it's standard nor premium, but I would say it's specialized. I mean, designed for Steam, you can use it for other applications. It's got the repairability factor, and it's got the Steam support factor, like Valve support, which I think puts it in its own kind of category. I mean, Valve does wonders with their coding, with what they're able to do. It doesn't seem like the Steam controller is fully fleshed out in terms of the back-end stuff, the drivers and all of that just yet. So I would definitely put it in a specialized category. I mean, it's got the premium parts. It does have repairability, but it doesn't have like a lot of the glitz and the glam, like the LED flashy around the D-pad or the joysticks or the glowy buttons or anything like that. But at the same time, I don't know if it needs it, if that makes sense.
I'm actually glad that it doesn't have LEDs. Personally, I hate LEDs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question for you, Alan. Like, we're talking about $99 as the price, and is that good or not? But you don't live in the United States, and how much are you going to have to pay if you decide to buy one of these?
Oh, it's awful. So right now on the site, it's $150. I don't think that includes tax. Where I'm at, so where I'm at, that would be 13% tax on top of that. Hopefully shipping's included. If it does include tax, you know, it's a little less of a pill to swallow, but at the same time, for $150, my reservation here is that if it's not feature complete and they're still working on it, you're buying it with the hope. Now, Valve has a good track record, but at the same time, you're buying it with the hope that it's going to get better, going to get more compatible and whatnot. And for right now, I don't have to worry about the Windows stuff so much, but on Linux, like if some of the things aren't working, if it's not feature complete, I mean, that's a $150 gamble that you could be left with, you know, something a little bit disappointed. Valve of late seems very good, but at the same time, I would say previous track record is not perfect. So I do have some concerns there, and like I'm looking on my desk right now, and I've got the 8-Bit Do Pro 2 that I use religiously. I've got a bunch of these, and that's a $60 controller in Canada. So I can get essentially almost 3 of those for the price of the Steam controller. And that's kind of, Android, Windows, Linux, you name it, this controller will work on it. It's got X input, D input. Yeah, Switch as well. So this is kind of one controller to do it all. And the Steam controller is more of that specialized niche controller. And I'm curious to see, will I like the D-pad more in the Steam controller, or will I like it more in the 8-bit Do or 8-bit Do or whatever. So it's the Steam or Valve is the pricing is prohibitively expensive here in Canada, I would say, for a lot of people.
And it's above the conversion rate too, right?
Yeah, conversion is like 130 something, so like 138, I think, as of today, or 135. So you're definitely paying a premium there. I'm hoping it's 150 because of the taxes, but considering Canada varies by state, or state by province, wow, any Canadian viewers are going to hate me for saying that. But it varies by province in terms of taxes. Alberta's got a different tax rate, BC, Manitoba. So I'm curious to see what it means overall. I'm guessing it's 150 before tax in Canada.
When you bought your Steam Deck, did that have tax included, or did the tax happen afterwards?
Tax happened afterwards, and I can tell you how much the taxes were once I pull up my receipt for it. But that was something else that was a kick in the pants, because I was debating on upgrading to the OLED around holiday season. I was thinking, I got the LCD, it's still fine. It seems like a waste at this point, because the OLED, if I wanted the 1 terabyte OLED one, it was close to $1,000 in Canada. So that's a hard pill to swallow. The LCD was just fine.
Yeah. All right. Russ, what do you think about, is it a premium, or is it a whatever Alan just called it? Specialized, or is it a standard controller? And what do you think of the price?
So I am thinking of it as a standard controller more than specialized. Yeah, it only works under Steam, but I feel like a lot of controllers in general just have like their own nitpick. Like there's never been a perfect one when it comes to compatibility, and so all that is just kind of something I take in stride. But when I think of a premium controller, I'm thinking of like Asus makes like a $300 controller or whatever, right? Or like the only one that's ever interested me, and I still have never pulled the trigger on it, is the Victrix one, the one that you can swap the D-pad and the face buttons. I think Turtle Beach makes it. I'm not sure who makes it, but anyway, that one's always been interesting to me. But it's $200 controller. So my take on it is a standard controller, but at a higher standard. The repairability. There's a lot of things to it that are really unique. Feature wise, though, the standout features are the grip sense and the trackpads. Like, because I can get an 8-bit Do or a GameSir. Oh, we just lost Alan. I can do an 8-bit Do in GameSir, and it's absolutely fine. For most of the needs that I have, I generally don't use trackpads, but I'm still thinking of it as like a standard controller that's just at a much higher standard than the console ones. And honestly, I think they're better picks than like the Pro versions that like the Switch,
for sure,
or not the Switch one, but the PS5 Pro and the with the DualSense Edge
Xbox
and
Elite.
the Xbox Elite.
Those made no sense.
I know. I bought that first Xbox Elite back in the Destiny days because it was like the only controller I knew of that had like back paddles, and I was like, I can use a back paddle to jump and then another one to reload, and so that's how I used those two. And I liked it because they were removable, so I didn't have to have all four there, just two. And that was like $200, $150. It was a lot. And that rubber on that thing just melted in Hawaii's climate. It's like a sticky mess now. It's like, I don't even like touching that thing. It's such a waste. But it has those other premium features like a case. It comes with a nice case. And then, like you mentioned, like swapping out the sticks and stuff like that. So that's what I would consider a premium controller. And I wouldn't consider this that. It's just a really high standard.
Right, yeah, especially with those TMR analog sticks. I think they made the right choice in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. So I think like if you were to look at it, also I appreciated your input on the diameter of the face buttons. I think it does matter. Even this being a millimeter larger actually does change things a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. Hopefully, it ships to me fast after I buy it. I don't remember how long it on standard shipping. Hopefully, I get it before we can have the next podcast.
Hopefully
But,
you can get an order in. That's the thing I'm worried about.
I think I'll be able to. I think. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I'll be able to get an order in. I'm the $100 price point and how many I think that they're going to have. I think they should be fine. I think I'll be fine with that, to be honest. So I just want to. I want to have it. And I want to start my journey of, start using gyro and stuff. Welcome back, Alan.
Alan lost connection,
Thanks.
or he pissed off enough Canadians because he said states and they went and cut his cable line.
I think that's it. No, my browser crashed. I was searching through my email, and my browser just decided to crash.
Had enough.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, enough of this.
Okay, so Russ, you said it's I don't know. Did you say too expensive, just the right price, or I didn't hear.
talk about price, but like I think it's fine. I think it is worth. You get what you pay for, is what I said in the video. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it's all the components and everything together. I think it's worth $100. There are other controllers that are cheaper that have other features, some more, some less than the Steam controller. And that's one of the things I did in my video is I showed off 6 other like alternatives, and the prices for each of them, they're all around $50-$60. And they have other functions, like one works on an Xbox, one has like the ability to like make all of your back buttons flush with the rest of the thing with using a trigger, like they're a toggle. And that was like the best for
That's
me. It's like
cool.
if I don't want to use back buttons, I don't even want to touch them, and you could just toggle it over and then not even know they're there. So little things like that were cool. And so it really comes down to the features you're looking for. But for the Steam machine and our Steam controller and all of the features that it has in it, to me, it's worth $100 just based on the value that you're getting from it, just whether or not that fits your needs.
That makes sense. I mean, having it in my hands. What?
Oh,
Alan
I'll
versus
wait for you.
Oh,
to
I
go.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alan.
I got my receipt for my Steam Deck, and
Okay.
so I got the cheap base model 64 gig Steam Deck, priced at $4.99 Canadian. I had to pay import fees on top of that, so it was $64.87 in import fees. I had a deposit on the Steam Deck for $5.70. I don't remember that, but anyways, I paid $558.17 for the base model Steam Deck. So curious now, because that has me more worried about the price of the Steam controller if I had to pay import fees on the Steam
Right.
Deck years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's rough.
Find out a couple days, but
Yeah. So when I pulled this out of the box, the first thing that I was looking at is the build quality. And I would say compared to the original Steam controller, the build quality is off the charts compared to this. But the build quality on the original Steam controller was ass. And I say this as somebody who loved the original Steam controller. This thing was great, but the build quality was really bad. It had terrible tiny little buttons. The bumpers. Okay, you guys got to hear this. Listen to the bumpers on this thing.
Yikes.
So freaking loud. The bumpers on the new one, they're so quiet, and they feel really good. The plastic is kind of cheap feeling, but it feels like a Steam Deck, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
Steam
fine.
Decky, yeah.
Yeah. I wish it had grips, like not grips, but like a grippy texture on the back, like a lot of the other modern controllers that I've used. I wish it had that. And then the fact that you can't swap out the sticks or you can't swap out the D-pad, you don't have a headphone jack. Like a lot of that stuff makes me say it's not a premium controller, but it's the only controller that can do what it does. So I'm going to pay $100 for it. I mean, I have one sitting here. I'm going to buy another one on Monday anyway, because I want to have multiples in the house. So, I mean, I think $99 is okay for this. Probably not 100 and whatever the hell Alan's going to have to pay, but
Yeah, that's-
99 I'm okay with.
Yeah, that's brutal. The taxes and taxes or import fees, whatever's coming in on top of that, that's kind of brutal. I looked at the conversion of 150, so it's like 110 USD, which is like all right, but then you start slapping some more on top of that, and it's going to start slowly sliding into the maybe I just won't actually get this controller.
Yeah.
I can feel that. For me, it's whatever. I really, really want. I desperately want to get good at gyro. I've seen so many videos of people using a DualSense in Counter-Strike and being competitive, like insanely competitive against mouse players. And that was like, okay, I see it. I see a valid example of someone just absolutely wrecking with gyro, and I want to really embrace that. And every time I try, and I have to say it all the time, but it's like patting my head and rubbing my stomach at the same time. It breaks my brain when I'm using the right analog stick to generally move around and then engage gyro. And if gyro's on all the time when I'm using the right analog stick, it completely breaks my brain. I forgot the name of it, but there's a thing where, have you ever talked to someone like on a VoIP call and you can hear your own self back
yeah.
by like a small delay?
Yeah.
And just you hearing your own voice kind of makes you stop talking. Like you just like your brain just frazzles out. That's how I feel about gyro and a right analog stick. It's like I start doing it, I'm like, oh wait, I don't know what I'm doing, and then I like it just makes my brain divide by zero. So that's the part I really have to wrap my head around, is getting into that comfort zone and ratchet into when I want to use gyro. I really had my hopes up for the grip. So I'll still try when I eventually do get one, but that's my main focus. So I'm going to get it regardless, but it's mostly that's driving it.
You have to commit, though. You have to commit to using gyro, or because if you fall back to just doing the regular stuff, immediately you're like, wow, this is so much easier.
So
I think you never get good.
I think that makes a lot of sense because, when you go into those Steam controller discords and stuff, those guys are so hardcore that I think after they've already passed through the edge that they can't go back anymore. Because, they're using it right now, so they're like, ugh,
Right.
What is this? This is a child's toy. What is this?
It's like Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
You have to use your hands.
You have to use your hands. Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be the case. Will I just ruin myself with regular controllers?
I mean, it could be. I don't know. And also, you have to start with a slow game. If you start with a fast-paced game, you're going to get your ass handed to you.
Doom Eternal. I remember Doom Eternal, I was playing on the hardest difficulty, and I was like, oh, this is perfect difficulty. And then on the fourth level, they bring in the Marauders, and the Marauder destroyed me. And I was playing on controller at the time when I was doing it. I was like, this is pretty fine. And I had to go to keyboard and mouse just to beat Marauders. And I'm like, this is unreal. This is oh, this is the controller threshold for me. And I had to go to mouse and keyboard to continue playing. I loved Eternal, the pace of Eternal. So I know you're saying play a slow game, but there's a part of me no, go fast, go hard, just jump in.
And then you mentioned the guys that are on those discords that you're talking about, how they've already passed the edge and they can't go back. I feel like that's when I run into a Linux problem and I'm like, all right, Linux gurus, I'm running into this issue. And they're always like, oh, that's easy. You just do these 35 steps and then you're all set. And I'm like, how would anybody know to try that? I just right click on things. And I feel like that's the same thing with people who are intensely into gyro, because they're telling you all these, you got to have your all these settings that they're telling you, and that's overwhelming to anybody who's a novice, but they can't remember what it was like to be a novice.
The thing that I find pretty funny is that all of them are still critical on Steam input. They're like, oh yeah, gyro's still never going to be as good as it needs to be, is you'll never be able to compensate for acceleration correctly. And they talk about oh, you have to use this to do acceleration. And I'm like, guys, I haven't even started yet. You're already 10 blocks ahead. I haven't even started. Right. Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, apparently there was a new feature that got added to Steam Input that has a rudimentary gyro acceleration type of deal, but it's not ideal. I need to talk to those guys a bunch more. They might be listening. They'll probably just like hit me up. They're like, "Oh, so I was listening to NerdNest. So here's what you need to do, you absolute buffoon." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Absolute buffoon. Well, let's put this buffoonery behind us and move on to our next topic, which is Microsoft. It's kind of still about SteamOS a little bit too. Microsoft wants to bring SteamOS level of gaming performance to Windows 11 while cutting back AI bloat with their K2 project. This came out on the 29th. And as I was scrolling through, basically, here's what they said. It said gamers are a key part of the Windows 11 ecosystem, and for this, Microsoft is said to view SteamOS as the benchmark. Microsoft is working to optimize the performance to match the same levels as SteamOS and has internally estimated to outperform the operating system in 2 years. Okay, so number one, if Microsoft is actually saying that, hey, SteamOS is making games run better than Windows, thank God that they saw the videos and have finally understood what we've all been saying for a really long time. You know, honestly, I can't. Every time I see benchmarks that show that Linux is outperforming Windows, I'm blown away by that because it's going through a translation layer before we actually get to run it. But we usually get a few frames per second better. And that's awesome. Like, I think it's absolutely great. Russ, what do you think about that sentence that they want to optimize to match SteamOS? You think they can do it?
It's always, I always have the same thing to say, which is just like, it feels like a stack of applications. When you're using Windows, is you've got all that old tech. A good example actually came today where I was talking to one of the guys who does he does inputs for the SDL community, the people that make like the controller configurations and how it works with firmwares and stuff. So this is a guy I've known for a long time. He always hits me up when he sees a new controller review. He's like, hey, can you send me the SDL codes for this one? So he gives me an app, and then I go and I push all the buttons and I send him the log. And that's how he helps like open source, like stuff like that. Anyway, so I was talking to him this morning after this video, and he was like, yeah, you can't trust any of the applications to do gamepad testing with, like the ones that are in browsers or anything else, because they have their own layers of complication. He's like, you've got to use the old school joypad driver Windows application, which is in the console settings. And he gave me a run command to try in Windows. And sure enough, there's just some random controller, like it just lets you know whether or not you have a controller connected. And it's this little old like Windows 98 box that comes up, and so imagine all the thousands of other little boxes that are available within Windows, and all that's running at the same time as you're doing everything else. And I get it. That old app was super handy today because I could tell definitively at the Windows level that it was not detecting the Steam machine as a gamepad. Like I could just see that instead of having to start up a game and see whether or not the controls work. Like I could just see that it doesn't see a gamepad here.
Right. It's a mouse and keyboard, right?
Yeah, it's a keyboard trackpad is what they're saying, right? And so that was very useful, and it's not something that I want to get rid of, but at the same time, like I also want to get rid of bloat on Windows, and I want it to be snappy and intuitive and console-like. And so I don't know, do they need to splinter it, and make a mouse and keyboard OS and make a controller one, or what do they need to do? I'm not really sure. So I'm glad they're looking at it and they're trying. I don't know if they can do it, but yeah, at least try.
Alan, you think they can do it?
No. I mean that with love. I don't think so. Part of the problem, I think, is they need to figure out what they're doing in the first place. I mean, they have a benchmark. That's great. They say, 2 years, we're going to beat it. That might be marketing fluff right now because of how bad, Xbox is doing, and arguably Windows gaming in general, just the reputation around that. And, even with the financial numbers that came out the other day. But I don't know, like there's so much going on with Windows. It just seems it's going to be very hard to debloat, to worry about AI breaking things with the AI coding they've been rumored to be doing in the background. And that's not a shot against AI, but I mean, if you're having AI code things, good luck. It's going to introduce problems. I'm curious to see the direction they end up taking and what they end up figuring out for Windows gaming. Like, I'd almost argue they need a whole other operating system just for Windows gaming, and just calling it something completely different. Or maybe even calling it Windows gaming, but just having a complete other operating system as a branch of Windows, as opposed to trying to do everything with one operating system. Because as soon as you do that, you don't need all those printer drivers for gaming. You don't need all the bloat in the background that they've got, all the legacy applications to support a million different things. You just need something to be able to run games, and the bare minimum in terms of what they need. I thought they had a head start with this, with the Xbox Ally, like the game mode they have there to cut down on some of the RAM that was used. But at the same time, I mean, even that is like, they made some recent improvements, but it's still got a ways to go. Like that's been out for a while now. It just seems that Microsoft is going in a bunch of different directions, and I don't know. I don't know if they have the manpower to be able to pull this off or not, but I have my doubts.
I'm 100% sure they have the manpower. I'm not 100% sure they have the willpower.
Okay.
Cary, you just pasted a link in chat. What's this all about?
So there's a lot of news from Microsoft. So this is... a lot of people have been talking about this. In Windows 11, they actually moved the start menu to a React app. So it's like a WebView app. And they started doing a lot of WebView stuff in Windows 11, which is why Windows 11 started to feel super garbagey. And they are now saying, actually, that's all crap. We went this route and no one likes it. We're going back the native route. So this is kind of in line with the whole K2 project that they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So you have the K2 project. They also just announced yesterday for AutoSR and all these docked-like features for the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. They had that. They what else? There's like multiple streams of news coming in of like improving Windows, and the 2-year mark that they give lines up exactly with the Xbox Helix effectively launching. So, which is, rumored to be a PC as well. I think what I find a bit defeating is especially when I would go and talk with them directly, I would lace into them really bad and say, look, everyone calls this a bloat problem, and just reducing memory isn't our problem. It's how you handle the hardware. And that is why Linux is so much better, is because it's actually using the hardware efficiently and effectively, rather than, you have all this stuff loaded on top of you. That does matter to some degree insofar as RAM-constrained environments, but if you don't have a RAM constraint, it's not really doing all that much, especially when you have foreground applications that are going to be, the schedule is going to be handling that mostly. And then you look at HX370, which has heterogeneous cores, which Windows does terribly with, and Linux does fantastic with, because the scheduler just handles those CPU cores a lot better. So I feel like, they went in a route where someone was like, make it use less RAM. And it did. But that didn't matter. Linux still beats Windows when it's running in game mode. It didn't matter. So now I'm sure I've started looking at Linux running stuff and are actually doing stuff, and they're like, what do you know? It actually runs better. It's not just, this. So I think they have had an internal wake-up call, and when you start taking a look at all of the pieces of everything that they're saying in concert, all at once, it becomes a lot louder than just the K2 project, because it's also the Xbox Ally X has its improvements. And then there was something else that they had said that I tweeted about, that in and of itself, I was like, they're taking baby steps. And people were like, game mode is now coming to Windows PCs in general, not just Xbox Ally X, but for all Windows PCs. Right. So you see, so they're doing that. Xbox Ally X has these preview features like AutoSR and a lot of other docked features, mouse cursor and game mode. So they're putting all of these foundational building blocks in there. And then there's the K2 project that is the holy grail of, please goodness, fix this. Like if I could rest assured that I set my frame cap to 60 and the system only uses as much power as it needs to hit 60 FPS, glory day. I won't have to worry about what I'm doing anymore, right? Like a whole section of my whole reviews will just no longer be a thing. So I am very much looking forward to this. But like Alan mentioned, will they actually do this? Their track record is horrendous, and they have been torpedoing Windows' reputation into the ground relentlessly, nonstop, even though people have been saying and screaming loudly how bad it is. And then Valve comes in and just shows them how it's done with like 300 people, and then they just look foolish. So now it's just really, it really looks bad for them, and they, even 2 years seems like it's too long, right? It's like, okay, I know you want to kind of tie this in with the Xbox Helix, but let's step it up a little, guys. Let's fix that scheduler. Let's get all this stuff actually working. You don't need Xbox Helix to be, perfect when you roll all this stuff out. So that's, I'm of both minds. I'm super happy that they're finally saying something, and the K2 project is probably the biggest one of it. But I see a lot of building blocks all around there that I'm happy that there's a lot going on right now that kind of builds to this trust a little bit. But they really have to execute.
Makes me wonder, too, you mentioned Project Helix, and I'm curious to know if they end up going a specific operating system route for Project Helix, kind of how SteamOS exists for the Steam Deck and then starts rolling out for other devices. If they go that route and then roll out Helix for mainline PCs and whatnot, I think that would maybe be a good step.
That would be something, like, if you're not just talking about the scheduler, because if you take a look at GameScope, which has always been the underlying layer for the compositor for SteamOS, that is a transparent thing that no one really appreciates, but it does so much under the hood. And all's Windows has is, Windows their DWM, their desktop Windows manager. And that really hasn't gotten any love whatsoever, because it's trying to handle a lot of use cases where it's like, okay, if we're a tablet, if we're this size, if we're a big screen, if we're whatever, if we're running a kiosk, how does this work, and so they care more about from a compatibility standpoint and making sure Windows get drawn on there exactly as they should. And GameScope cares more about display. Like, it does not benefit a user if this window opened up and it's this tiny and it's the only window on there. GameScope's like, how about we just scale that out automatically for the user? Like, it would just benefit them if they just saw that, especially on a handheld. So it's things like that GameScope does automatically, and it streamlines a whole bunch. So yes, there's a part of me that feels like I don't feel that the Xbox Helix, if it does become a PC, that it will be a full-blown PC. Like, I will run Excel on this, because it's, unless the price is in line with what it should be, meaning $2,000 plus, okay, then make it a regular PC. But if it's $1,000, why wouldn't someone just buy this and be like, oh, this is my desktop PC as well, right? Because then you're getting a $2,000 PC for $1,000. So for me, it just feels like the Xbox Helix will actually be a truncated version of Windows still. It will still play PC games and everything, but it'll be very much just the Xbox game mode, or whatever new game mode that it is, and then it has Epic and Steam and all the other stuff, but it doesn't have generalized Windows, is how I feel about it currently.
Well, you don't think you're going to be able to install DaVinci Resolve on there?
I don't. Yeah, because it just it would just sell out all the time, for at least for the first year. It would make no sense. If you could buy, especially because prices are so insane, right? If everything is absolutely insanely priced, and Microsoft comes along and is like, oh, here's 48 gigs of RAM, RDNA 5 close to a 5080, and 24 Zen 6 cores for $1,000. Like, how does that not just, oh, it's a full-blown PC as well. It doesn't just play games. It does everything. Like, how does that not just, like, sell out all the time? Because also, all, like, system builders are not going to be able to compete with it for the first year. They have nothing.
So following your thinking, are you saying that they're not going to do this for like whiz-biz reasons? Like, they don't want to
make
for
it
too
reasons,
good? Yeah. Like the Mac M1 kind of thing, where they're like, oh, we made this too good. Like,
yes, they have the whiz-biz guy there. Like the Apple whiz-biz guy was on vacation when the engineers were like, hey, can we make the M1 like outrageously amazing? And like the whiz-biz guy was just like, just like shooting his baloney gun at the ceiling, just like spinning in his chair. Like, yeah, go nuts, guys. And like you look at AMD, right? Look at AMD. They have been dragging their feet with getting a new GPU out, and they just keep on refreshing the same stupid GPU year after year. We have the HX 4070 today. We had the 7840U, the 8840U, which was basically memory controller improvements, which I personally believe was all bogus. Like, it was AMD purposefully hamstringing the memory controller. No, I'm being serious. Like, they have nothing, right? Like, it's like, okay, we have this, but we want to sell it again this year. How about we just make this part suck, and then next year we'll make it not suck? And then you look at the HX 370 and the HX 470, the same damn thing. I still haven't tested the HX 470, but I bet you the memory controller is better all of a sudden. And you just look at this, right? Like, it's definitely whiz-biz stuff of like, how do we incrementally sell something the next year to people without giving them something new? So they just keep on dragging it out. And I feel like if all of the players there, right? Not just anybody, but like even AMD is like, hang on, you want to make a full PC and you're going to have this super awesome thing and you're going to sell it at cost? Like, what? How are we going to sell what we want to sell? You're just like, also when the RDNA 5 comes out on 2027, it's going to be out on Xbox first. RDNA 2 landed on Xbox and PlayStation 5 first before it came out on PC. So you're going to have the next generation part in a part that is only exclusive to like, and it's cheap. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's going to be someone that's like, hold the phone, stop what you're doing. Yes, it can play all PC games, but that's it. Like, it can't run Adobe. It can't.
So
it can't
I understand
do
all of that, but also as a consumer, I'm like, this sounds great. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how many of those am I going to buy? You know what I mean? I'm like, if they're really trying to disrupt the market and stuff, yeah, they're going to piss off HP and Dell and everybody else, right? But maybe that's what puts them ahead, you know? And so, I don't know. I just want to watch this happen, you know? And obviously, I want to get a computer that's worth $2,000 for $1,000 as well.
Well, yeah, we don't even know, right? Maybe it's $1,500. Maybe it's $1,500 when because prices are insane, right? And maybe it's $1,500. That means that, I mean, a 5080 full-blown PC comparable is still going to be about like $2,400. So even if it's a $900 savings rather than half off, that's still a considerable savings. So I don't know. We have yet to actually have anything confirmed, right? Maybe it doesn't have 48 gigs of RAM. Maybe it only has 24 gigs of RAM. And then that changes things a bit. So who knows? Maybe we don't have all the information yet. And we still don't know the price. But certainly, if all of the stuff starts landing, it really is it starts baking my noodles. Like, how is no one stopping this? Because it's, for Xbox, it's going to be great because everyone's going to want it. But if it's a full-blown PC, it really starts introducing some curious questions where there's going to be like a 2 or 3 year gap before things start making sense to purchase something else.
So I've got two things here. Number one, your AMD rant, I think you're onto something because I uncovered a little bit of something like that when I was taking a look at a mini PC with a Ryzen 7 255. And I was like, what the hell is a 255? And I was going through and I went down a wormhole, just taking a wormhole, rabbit hole, whatever, just taking a look at the specs and the chips and everything. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Secondly, I freaking love these rants. I don't mean to encourage this, but at the same time, I learn a ton from them, and I quite enjoy it.
This is why I invited him onto the show, is so that he would lose his mind once an episode.
If I digress way too much, someone has to really stop me, like poke me on the side, like, okay, you've gone too far. Wrap it up. Let's get this
Land
on
the plane.
yeah.
Alan, you sent an article into our chat room here. What's this article about?
Oh, I want to be careful because I think Cary may start ranting about this one too. So it's the new Xbox mode. Just the headline alone you have to read. The new Xbox mode for Windows 11 has arrived, but don't get your hopes up for performance improvements. It's just a new UI.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not
correct.
a very good UI either.
No.
Like, it's the same one that we have on the Xbox Ally X, and it's fine that it's great that I can now log into my computer using a controller, not the Steam controller, but using a controller and just put my pin in that way is great. That's awesome. The UI is just, I don't know, it's just ugly and I don't like it. And I know who cares about the UI because I just launch a game and then I'm playing. And does it work for that? It absolutely works for that. There's no like it's not bad, but I just prefer SteamOS because when I use SteamOS, I never get a weird little pop-up window that I have to deal with. I never get where sometimes the wrong thing is in focus. It's like, oh no, you're interacting with this window, but you can't see that window because there's a game on top of it. And then I had like, if I'm on the Xbox Ally X, I just touch the screen and it's like, oh yes, now everything's fixed. But when on TV, you can't do that. And so then you're like stuck. And I was really excited for the Steam controller to do that so that I could just, oh, I can't do something. I'll just move my mouse up and click, and then that would fix things. But the fact that I couldn't log in on my Windows machine means that now I have to still have a freaking keyboard and mouse nearby so that I can type my password. It's like all these little things that just, it never fully works. But when I sit down with SteamOS, it just works. And that's the thing that I like most. It just works.
So I will say before Cary goes that you can, like one thing I often will do, because it happens on handhelds all the time, you can go, like it comes up and asks for your PIN, just go over to the little accessibility hand guy, like the guy who's like standing like this, click on that, then on-screen keyboard, and then you can use your mouse to type in your PIN. It's like 5 steps, but you don't have to walk over and get your keyboard. So that's usually what I will do sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is I don't know if this exists or not, but it may be possible that Scissor has a service level install for Windows so that it runs as a system level app as opposed to just an app that you launch, because that's what I do for my Xbox controller now. There's an app that I use that I install purposefully as a system level app so that when the system boots, it loads that up in the background and then will start intercepting all controller input to do mouse emulation, and that's how I've done it. So if the Scissor app could be installed as a system level app, as a system service for Windows, that seems like it would be the ticket.
I don't think so.
And that's different than a startup item, because you can make startup
Yeah,
items, right?
That is absolutely different than a startup item. A startup item only activates after login, and you want something that is before login.
Okay.
The thing is then it turns your Steam controller into
the X input.
An X input, and that is, I'm not going to say objectively, but subjectively worse. Because
what if
the cool thing about this is that I can do a million things with Steam input, and as soon as it becomes just an Xbox controller, I can't do half the cool things that I want to do.
Right. Well, so the thing about Scissor, though, is that if you have it running and you run a Steam game, it's still going to use Steam input. It's just for all the non-Steam input.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
so you can still you kind of get both. You know, you'll be able to use it as X input, which is what Microsoft wants, right? What the Windows Forum wants, and then you can also use it for Steam input too. So, but the thing is, it's an app that you just. I mean, I don't even have to startup app. I have to double click on it in order to get it to start when I start up my computer, kind of thing. So.
I was just looking at Scissor because I haven't used Glossy in a while, and I used to talk to the dev for Glossy, and he has he's like, caution, if you are a YouTuber and intend to talk about or mention this software, please talk to me first. I really want to avoid people publicly saying wrong things about my software, and he capitalized software, because of features missed. It happens too often. It's Scissor, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I didn't.
Dude's coming after us.
About it. That's funny. I guess I didn't read the fine print.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I'm talking about a news story and then sitting on the news story, like right on the screen while I'm talking about like what I think and everything, is a blurb that completely nullifies the thing that I'm saying, just because like I didn't notice that part, or I kind of got on a roll with what I was saying and then I just skip over that, and then people are always like, you idiot, it was on the screen while you were talking about it. Yeah, but I was looking at the camera, so I didn't see it.
Bill, it says right here, standalone background service for Scissor. So that would solve your problem. And you can just use a Steam controller, boot Windows, have it wake Windows, and then use your controller to then, enter in your login.
Which sounds great. But I already have SteamOS, so I'm just going to stick with that because it's easier.
Yeah, then there's no pleasing you then.
There is no pleasing me. All right. Next up, we have, not this. Not this either. That's the same article. Okay. We're still talking about Project Helix, but not for much longer. There's this article over at Insider Gaming, and it says that we're going to see a new look at Project Helix on May 7th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. CEST. And they say the Game Dev Update is a new show that is bringing highlights directly from the teams building Xbox and sharing technical context and what it means for all your work and all in one place. The goal is to make it easier for you to stay informed, connect the dots, and understand how these changes show up in your day-to-day as a developer. So this is clearly aimed at developers, which I'm fine with. I'm still going to check that out. I mean, I've watched plenty of things where it's not aimed at consumers like me, because I'm not a developer. And 90% of the time, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But every once in a while, you get a little piece of information that is really interesting. So I like that. What's up, Cary?
I was going to post a link. That's also another piece of news that they. I was going to go find it. I raised my hand instead of muting myself. But there is. Have you guys heard about how horrible Microsoft's certification process is for releasing games on Xbox, especially on PC, for the Xbox app?
Oh, so for the Xbox app? No.
Yeah, or just Xbox the console, right? Like every time that there's an update for a game, it's like available immediately on Steam, and it's like, oh, it'll be on Xbox in like a week or so after it passes certification. That whole thing is Nintendo. Also, so that whole process looks like that is as well getting streamlined. So that's what I mean is like there's a lot of things that are going on in Microsoft where they're like, hey, we've just been like nonstop sucking. People have been talking about it. It's not like we don't know. Perhaps we should just suck less. And someone was like, all right. And that's like I get from looking at these things, like all these little pieces are starting to line up. I was going to find the link for you because they show an image of like what the certification process is going to get streamlined down to, but I would wager that we're going to see more of it at this particular talk, specifically with regards to developers having trouble already with the certification process and that part slowing them down so much. So hopefully we get some more information there as well, because if they can match, because that's the other thing, right? It's not just what we care about mostly is everyone cares the performance of Windows. We want that to match or exceed what SteamOS is capable of doing on hardware, matched hardware. At the same time, it would be really nice if developers could move at the same pace that they do on the development side of Steam, which they can move ludicrously fast on and make different builds in the background that people can select and go, actually, I want to do the beta build, and then that will automatically load. Not to mention, their Valve's CDN, their content delivery network, is fantastically fast and will saturate my link all the time to the point that when I start downloading stuff, people are like, hey, my internet's going slow. I'm like, oh, right, I have to limit myself when I download from Steam, like during normal business hours. But like that's how good Valve is to that extent. In every way, they like are vertically they're banging on all cylinders there. So they have to compete at every angle, not just on the consumer facing side, but also on the commercial dev facing side.
I think that what Microsoft really has to do, if they want to fix this, they got to get rid of UWP. They just got to go straight. They just got to go back to EXE and like
Win32.
Yeah, they got to do what they got to make it so that the devs don't have to make another version. Like they're already making a version that runs on the hardware that you're talking about. Just let the devs just drag the freaking files over and put it on your store. Why would you not do that?
Maybe they have a big thing that says suck more. And they're like, oh, this is what we got to do.
All right.
Let's just make this suck more.
Alan, what do you think about this story?
It's a story. No, I think I'm with both of you on this one. It's I really think that Windows or Microsoft just has so much work ahead of them to try to figure things out. And I mean, look at all the opinions we've had over the last half hour. We've been talking about similar things, and we keep circling back to very similar conclusions here. And I'm curious to see. I mean, I don't know. It's with this, what is it, Game Dev Day or whatever they're calling this one, I'm hoping to learn some stuff, but at the same time, making it whether it's making it easier for developers to release games or making an operating system less bloated and more streamlined. Streamlined seems to be the key word here in terms of stuff that Microsoft has to do. I don't know if they can, and I don't know. I think it's too early for any long-term predictions, but at the same time, I mean, they kicked out Phil Spencer, who moved mountains for Xbox, maybe not so much in the later years, but at the same time, how much was out of his control, and how much was he really responsible for the downward spiral of some of this stuff? So I don't know here. I've got opinions, and time's going to tell, but that's my 2 cents.
That's what it says, like Satya and Phil, and Satya is like slides over a note, and Phil is like, suck more.
Just real quick, because there's probably people watching this and they're going to be like, oh, these guys hate Microsoft so much. I don't know anybody in the world that likes Microsoft stuff more than Cary.
Yeah, I love them. I do. I'm just critical of it because I care.
Right.
Like
we're critical because we want the stuff to be better.
I want to posit, like, I need to really like make this point. I am an Xbox fan. I like the Xbox One. I was a huge Xbox 360 fan. They lost me in 2010 because the suits got in there and they just put it on cruise control, and it was a disaster since. I have no problem saying that the Xbox One was an absolute disaster and it was absolute garbage. It doesn't hurt my feelings because that's just what it was. I will just say things as they are. I may like Xbox a lot, but if they really fumbled and did terrible, I don't like, okay, yeah, you guys really messed that one up. I don't know how to sugarcoat that, but there's nothing to really be said otherwise. So anytime anything, like, I'll give Nintendo crap all day long and I'll give Sony crap all day long. But when they're, if I loved Astrobot, it's the only game that I really bought for PS5. It was a great game, and it won Game of the Year, and I was like, yeah, it's a really good game. Nintendo, I love Zelda games. It is without a doubt my favorite series ever, so I will always love Nintendo stuff. But they also do a lot of anti-consumer stuff all the time that is not like good. And then there's lots of things that they can do bad. But I'm just going to say it straight, and mostly I'm going to do it just because I want to set expectations. Like, I talk bad about the Steam machine a lot because if the price is too high, it's in a no man's land of being recommendable. Like, right. How do I do that? How do I? Oh yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit less than a PS5, and it's also going to be more expensive. How do you reconcile that? Right? You're like, well, I hope you're just the biggest Steam fan ever, so that you can like suck it up. I don't know what you say to that. You just say what it is.
I think I'm with you, Cary. Look, we're just calling it how it is. I want to see more competition in this space. The last thing I want to see is a monopoly. If Xbox goes away, that it's horrible for gaming and gamers in general. I love to see the competition. And I have no problem grilling Steam or Xbox or Microsoft or Sony, like anybody. Competition is key, but at the same time, I mean, I demand the best from these gaming companies. I want to see the absolute best here.
Oh. Yeah. So, I mean, like that, like you look at Valve, right? Yeah. It's almost impossible. That's what always gets me. It's one thing that Rich and I always butt heads on because Rich is more, he's always in the favor of consumer and protecting consumer rights and making sure that all the things are as best as they possibly can be, which I can completely agree with. And then whenever there's like a lawsuit against Valve and whatever, Rich will be on the side of the consumer facing side, whether it's any bit or whatever. And sometimes I go, okay, that's fine. But at the same token, I look at everything that Valve has done. If you look at SteamOS, they quite literally single-handedly, you can look at everything that Linux has done and open source and whatever. But I would argue, and I would wager money, that the reason that Linux adoption has been going up is largely on Valve's shoulders. There's like a lot of stuff that other people have done. I agree. But the work that Valve has done makes it so that it's not even just like playing on Linux. There's a greater point here of game preservation that if Microsoft goes completely ballistic and nutso, Valve is going to single-handedly save a whole bunch of stuff to make sure things are still playable on another operating system, and they're doing it fantastic. So they have that. The dev side of stuff, with people going on making stuff for Steam, it's seamless and great, and they have a ton of tools and keep on improving the tools to make things better for devs. And then at the same time, people are just like, oh, they're taking 30%. It's like, all right, okay, you want to be like Epic, but then go to Epic. But no one goes to Epic. Why? It's because Steam is better. So it's just like, hey guys, I don't know how to, circle this square for you, but people choose Steam because it's better. And that is, I'm a huge Valve Steam fanboy as well. Like, I love all the stuff they do. But again, I'm going to go back to what we just said before. The Steam machine is not going to be, it's going to get panned a bit, like especially when reviews come out, and especially when some of the more computer-oriented people that have way more hardware and can compare to like other stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing it paint a very real picture of the capabilities of what that machine is capable of. And that is why price is critical. We still don't know what price is, but it is critical. And there's no way to sugarcoat that. So I don't know. I could be the biggest fan of stuff, and I can try to defend things in certain ways because I'll be like, okay, I don't think that I do not sense from Valve that they do things out of malice ever. Like, I think that they try to rationalize things, but then, they do the loot boxes and they do the other stuff. So that's
on
greedy
them.
Part of it.
They are the ones that made loot boxes, and I'll never forgive them for that bullshit.
Right. And you can argue that, and I would never yeah, okay, I can see where that's going. And now they have there's like news today that they might do a subscription service so you can open up as many loot boxes as you want if you pay $20 a month. Yes, there's things, right? But like, if there's a customer that wants to have that, at what point is like, you have the Fortnite Battle Pass, which is, I don't know, $20 or $30. I have no idea what it is. But that is effectively a subscription service to the loot boxes that happen when you level up in the game. So it's just another way to look at that. And if people pay for it and they want that, then okay. I don't want that.
Well,
I think,
but those aren't loot boxes. You know what you get.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. But if you have a subscription service that can unlock an infinite amount of loot boxes, it kind of doesn't matter because now you're not paying for keys to like, you're not taking a pull at a slot machine every time you put a quarter in. It's an unlimited amount of these things that you can get. So that's the only distinction that I would make there is that, yes, you still have the whole let's go gambling type of mindset behind it, but it would be like playing a free-to-play slot machine. You go into a casino, you pay $20, and you go to town. You don't win any money, but you only ever pay $20. Which, okay, I'm not like defending this at all. It's not for me, and I get the whole point of it. I really wouldn't defend that part of it. But I don't think that, like, we're getting to the point of like, is Valve? We went on a digression. I've gone on a digression here, but is Valve being is Valve being malicious? Is what I'm getting at here. They have hired psychologists to make people super attracted to get into this gambling thing. So there is a corner
That's
case
malicious,
there.
if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly. There's a part there. It's like, like once you look at it from that angle, you're like, all right, yeah, that is kind of sleazy. But then you also had that other thing that they did where what they do, they changed the value of keys or something or skins.
Oh, that it crashed the market like overnight.
They crashed the market on people that were like hoarding these things because it had a value, and Valve was just like, yes, this is different now, and it just cratered the market. That it seems worse to me than the other stuff because that is like all of these people. Maybe these people, you can argue, those people shouldn't be holding on to virtual items to resell as a whatever thing.
I'm going to jump in. We have gone through 6 topics. And Cary is the only one who's spoken, so I don't know where we are anymore.
Absolutely
I don't know what we've been talking about. I lost track.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. I will say bad things. I'm a fan of Xbox. I'm a fan of Valve, but I will say bad things about them because things need to be said.
That's
right.
It.
That's
Sorry
for
the
digression.
No, that's okay. So I just had forgotten where we were.
Yeah, we got back-to-back Cary rants. That's rare. That was a good one.
That's like when the Bulls won the championship 3 times in a row.
So while I was diligently listening to that, I also went into the Wayback Machine and looked at the Scissor website. And when I was using Scissor, it didn't have that YouTuber disclaimer. Like that was added, I think, after my video, I'm assuming, because I've seen a lot of comments saying, oh, you're the only one who brought this up. So yeah, I don't know what I said incorrectly in my video. I thought I said everything correctly, but I apologize if the guy's watching. He didn't send me an email or anything, and he doesn't have a Discord, so I don't know how to get a hold of them. But yeah, anyway.
All right. All right, real quick, GTA 6 is coming out in not too long from now. And Cary, you're laughing about something. Are you? Do you know you're muted?
Yeah, I know I'm muted. It's like we went through this whole thing, and then you're like, GTA 6. Like it's like
We're just getting ready for the 3 for Cary.
Let's do a safe topic next. GTA 6.
Well, GTA 6. They talked a little bit about the price, and I don't know what this makes me think. So, Strauss Zelnick was interviewed, and he said a couple of things that I thought were really interesting. This is not the right website, so I'm just not going to put it on screen for people. Sorry, YouTube people. It says, here's what he said when asked about the price of GTA 6. He says, consumers pay for the value you bring to them, and our job is to charge way, way, way less of the value delivery. How you feel about something you buy is the intersection of the thing itself and what you pay for. Customers need to feel like the thing itself is amazing, and the price they were charged it for is fair for what they got. Then he talked a little bit about the fact that games have not raised prices in a very long time. They used to be 60, then they were 70, and it's been a really long time. And you look at inflation rates, they've gone up, but the prices of the games have not gone up that much. He said then finally, what we think about making is the most spectacular piece of entertainment on Earth in history, and it's a pretty daunting challenge. If we do that and we're of service to customers, then the upside will take care of itself. So that seems like a long way to go to say this game is going to cost $1 billion. Russ, what do you think is going to be the price of GTA based on what he said right there?
Yeah, I mean, this is just like, it seems a little tone deaf to me, a little bit like it's just like, hey, you don't know how good this is, you know? Like, what did he say? Single best entertainment thing ever released, you know?
On Earth.
On Earth.
On Earth.
Mars has got better stuff, but yeah, it's ridiculous, and I get it. Sure, it's going to be expensive. Maybe he's trying to temper the waters first, you know, like he's trying to, just kind of prefix the fact that they're going to be doing this and raising the price. But it's like two sides of the mouth, because one side's like, oh, we need to charge way, way less than the value. It just so happens this is the greatest thing ever made. That's why it's only going to be $99, you know? And so, yeah, I don't know. And to be fair, this guy is the Take-Two CEO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably thinks a lot more about money than you and I do. And yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I think the price is going to go way up.
Alan, do you think this?
$90.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say, Russ?
I'm thinking $90.
Alan, you think this is going to be 150 Canadian?
Yeah. It's going to be expensive. And the kicker is it doesn't even need to be. I mean, this is, if you take a look at the recent leaks for Grand Theft Auto 5 and Rockstar, the game made like $10 billion, and it rakes in $500 million a year for the GTA Online stuff. That's like 1.4 million-ish a day. I mean, they could make this game free to play and still make a killing. So to me, it's corporate greed at this point in time. I mean, they talk about the game being the most expensive game ever made and all of this. But if you take a look at how much money Grand Theft Auto 5 has made in comparison with a lot of other games out there, I mean, it's not even close. So if they can recreate the magic in Grand Theft Auto 6, which arguably they will, just based on the reputation of GTA 5 alone, I mean, it doesn't need to be expensive, but I fully anticipate they're going to take advantage of the marketing, the legacy from Grand Theft Auto 5 and all of that. So
it's going to sell so many copies, copies. Yeah. And Alan, you're 100% right. They could sell it for cheap and still make so much money. I was just checking. Do you guys, how many views do you think that the trailer for GTA 6 has right now?
100 million.
More than
That's
one.
what I was thinking my gut was 100 million right then, but I was like, am I way off? I have no idea.
Alan thinks he's on Price is Right.
Yeah, more than one, less than infinity.
Okay, Alan is
absolutely
correct. Cary and Russ, you guys are low. It has
Whoa.
158 million, and then that was trailer 2. The first trailer has 277 million views on YouTube. This thing is going to sell like gangbusters. Ain't nothing going to get in its way, no matter how much they charge. And Alan, you're right. They could charge regular ass price and they would still make billions of dollars, I think.
Yeah, holy smokes. This is a console seller. It doesn't even have to be on a specific console. Just any console will probably sell that runs GTA 6. So I don't know here. This is going to be a cash cow for them. Unless they royally screw it up and it's horrible. But I don't think they're going to take that gamble at all.
When the PlayStation 5 prices all went up and the PS5 Pro went up to $900, I was like on the fence about whether or not I was going to upgrade before the price went up, because good on Sony, they did tell us ahead of time, so people had a chance to buy things before the prices went up. But then somebody in the comments of like probably one of our podcasts said, well, you should get it for Wolverine and this and that and GTA. And I was like, yeah, because then I would have the best version of that for quite a long time, because GTA ain't going to come to PC for a long time. And Wolverine, it seems like, isn't going to. So those games, it wasn't just GTA, because I don't particularly like Rockstar games. I'm going to get it because I want to try it out when everybody else is trying it out. But it's a system seller. It sold a PS5 Pro to me, essentially, that and the Sony exclusives.
So you did get a PS5 Pro.
I did, and my old PS5 is sitting here, and I'm going to sell it on the secondhand market now that the prices went up.
Okay.
Smart.
Okay, Cary, GTA 6 price. How much is it going to cost, and how much are you willing to pay?
I think it is going to be a low price. It's going to be like the price of a standard-ish controller made by Valve.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah. So the way he's saying it is like totally what Russ is saying is like, the value of this is going to be way, way less. We're charging practically peanuts for this. It's $99. Like nothing. Yeah. So that's like basically, I fully anticipate that $100 is for the standard version of it. And what the kicker for this whole thing is that by the time the price for GTA 6 comes around, and likewise for the Steam Machine, right? The Steam Machine price may be a lot higher than most people anticipate, but then the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, all of those have increased in price. So the perception of price has now like changed for everyone, because everything is like in the stratosphere that no one can afford anything. And it's like, oh, all right, I can't afford anything, so I'll just not afford it. So I feel like this is even more of a reason to have like a bogus, like actually these games, and also Nintendo is doing like $80 games. So I feel like $99 is like, feels like a price point is for the standard edition. And then it'll be like $150 for like, with shark cards or whatever, whatever they're going to do for GTA 6 online, and like call it like a value or whatever. That's my anticipation, is like it's going to be $100 for the standard, $150 for the digital deluxe version or whatever. So that's where it feels like from how he's talking about it. I don't feel like $80 feels like it might be like, oh wow, you're taking it easy on us. Thanks.
Well, the thing is like, but okay, so before Nintendo raised the price of like they were the first one to rip that Band-Aid off and make an $80 game. Before they did that, I'm sure that at some point we on the podcast talked about how much GTA was going to be. And I think most of us said, oh, probably like $80. It's going to be the first $80 game. But now it's like, we're all like, and that was like a year ago. And now we're all like, it's going to be $99 or 150 Canadian.
We're just all, it's 2026, man.
Keeps going up.
Yeah.
So before I want Alan to tell me the price too, but before he says that, I have just one kind of thought that I had is that this is kind of starting a precedence, not necessarily about, now every game's going to be higher or whatever. Like, I get it, market conditions are going to change, but it sets a precedence where, and Nintendo kind of started this as well. We're like, our really high value games, they're going to cost more. Mario Kart, definitely $80 game, but my worry is that as a manufacturer or a developer comes out with their game, they're like, all right, this is the next GTA 6. Therefore, we're going to charge GTA 6 prices because it's a marketing move at that point, right? Like, our game is so good, it's $100, right? And it's like a way of saying that their product is really good and trying to build hype. And I'm just worried about that because we're the ones who are going to pay for something like that.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, imagine like, the quality assurance testers, they're like, man, this game's amazing. They're like, is it $100 amazing? Like, and then if the problem with that is like, as you're saying, Russ, is like, if they are charging for fun, and like how much fun, like, this game is really good. This game's like $150.
Right.
And then the problem with that is like when a game launches and it's $150, it sets in the mind the luxury mindset of like, it's a $150 game. That means it's really good. And it's like a self-fulfilling type of thing. Yeah. It's the worst. I hate everything. I don't like it. Please just let me eject from 2026.
Russ, you took the words out of my mouth. That's my biggest concern now is no, don't apologize. I'm glad you think similar. I really don't think this is going to set a good precedent for the market, especially with words like that coming out of the CEO. It was a CEO, right? So
CEO of Take-Two.
Yeah, so if someone thinks they've got a GTA rival, they're going to price it the same. If people think, it's not quite as good as GTA, what kind of marketing is that for their game? This is our best. It's not as good as some of the other games out there, but it's pretty good. So you can't say that. So, just awful. Russ, I'm really hoping it doesn't go down this rabbit hole, but you never know.
I made a video sometime last year, and the title of the video was "Pretty soon, only CEOs will be able to play video games." Yeah. And I feel like I can stand by that. All right, let's talk about the games that we've been playing. None of us are CEOs, but we've been able to play a few games here and there. Russ, what have you been playing, dude?
I'm still on Pragmata, so I'm wearing it as a badge of honor now because when we first heard about this game, it was said it was going to be an 8-hour game or whatever. I am 10 hours into this game and I am halfway done, if that. Like,
you really looking for stuff?
Yeah, like I'm really taking my time. I'm going back. I mentioned it last week, I think too, is that I'm kind of grinding where I'll go back and be like, okay, I beat that enemy, I got some loot. I'm just going to go right back and, reset and then go back to the home base or whatever, then go back and fight the guy again, do a better job and get more stuff. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I normally wouldn't do that. I just kind of survive and get through. I kind of feel like I know where the story's going. So I don't have any draw to like, I got to find out what happens next. Instead, I'm just enjoying the little sandbox of this game. Yeah, I mean, I even did like one of those red key challenges. I don't know if you guys seen that, where it's like you go in and it's like a blocked area, and they're like, "Don't go in here unless you want to get messed up." And I was like,
I got messed up.
I'm like, I'm gonna go in, and that's crazy. I mean, I'm playing it on easy, but still. And so yeah, still playing it, still enjoying it. 10 hours in, and yeah, maybe halfway through. I beat the second very big boss, and that's basically it.
Russ is like recording his game and he's like replaying. He's like 101101110. I got to do the binary transfer. This like, say, okay, I see what she was going with here. Yeah. Why did these guys say it's 8 hours long? It's taking me like an hour for each time she goes through this.
I don't know. Last week we said 8 hours, and I got a bunch of comments saying, "Oh, it's more like 12." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I guess we had read it wrong, or like somebody had said 8 hours, and we all just agreed with it.
Yeah, it was before it came out. Like, I think early reviews were saying that. So
gotcha. Well, maybe they're like me and they just bum rush through and they don't look for anything. Like, I found one of those little guys that you're supposed to look for.
Oh, the guys.
I have yet to find another one ever. Like, and it's not like I'm playing with my eyes closed, but I haven't seen them anywhere. And I was like, I saw one and I wasn't sure what to do with it. And then I came back to the base, and it was in. I must have done the right thing, but it was like sitting on the desk, and I was like, "Oh, there's that guy," and it was like, go find more of me. I haven't seen any.
Yeah,
I
for those
didn't play it all
listening,
this week,
you got to shoot those little models when you see it, a little figurine. You got to shoot
Right.
it. There's one that's just there by default, so maybe that's that one.
Oh no!
So maybe you didn't do the right thing.
I didn't do the right thing then. Well, I got to go back and find him. I guess I probably won't. I'll never do that. But I am gonna keep playing the game. I have not had a chance to play any games this week, so I didn't play anything. But Alan,
So, okay.
oh, go ahead, Russ.
I was just going to say that the percentage, like, so when you go to a map, it'll show you what percentage is complete. And it's just like the hidden, like, treasure chests, things like that. It's not those little guys. So those guys don't count towards that percentage. So you can 100% a level, at least according to the game, without having to get those little guys. Anyway, that was it.
Cool. Alan, what have you been playing, dude?
Well, I have my regular slew of fighting games that I normally play, but recently I've been picking up Kerbal Space Program. So I've had that one on my PC forever, and I was on YouTube Shorts the other day and just flipping through, and someone was playing Kerbal and made a hilarious rocket, and I was like, maybe I should play that game again. And I've been picking it up, and I'm brutal at it, but it's a lot of fun. It's one that it's a great passive game because you can build a rocket, launch it into orbit, do some stuff, and while the rocket you're waiting for it to get to the moon or somewhere, you can do other stuff, and you don't have to be paying attention to the PC. So it's an idle game for me, kind of like Cast and Chill, where you don't really need to be paying full attention to it.
Nice.
That reminds me real quick. I saw a video. I don't know if you guys watch Hank Green, but
yes, I sometimes see it.
He put out a video where he took all of the pictures that have been released so far from the Artemis 2. Was it 2 or 1?
2.
2, thank you. Yeah, from Artemis 2. And he used the metadata from the pictures to get them all on a timeline. And then NASA had released a timeline of what all the astronauts were doing, like, from this time to this time they had to be sleeping, and then from this time to this time they're trying this, and they had all this stuff. And then he connected all of the photographs that they had taken to that timeline and where they were on the way to the moon. Alan, are you going to build a ship to try and fly around the moon and back?
Yes. I've got a good template that I use for ships. My problem is the landing aspects of it are always a little bit messy. Many Kerbals have perished in my journeys.
Many Kerbals, many Bothans died to bring us this information. Cary, what have you been playing, dude?
Still Starfield and Hearthstone. Same as ever. I still have quite a bit left to go for the DLC for Starfield. Although this week I've just been super busy with work. I also have work early tomorrow morning. I have to go to a data center, so
Yuck.
Just stuff has been in the way. Oh, also I did a bunch of Xbox reached out to me the day before. They told me about the Auto SR is on Xbox LIX, and they're like, hey, embargo, you have a day to make a thing. I'm like, oh goodness. So thankfully I already had Auto SR footage from a previous thing that I did that I could Auto SR is pretty cool, but it's for certain use cases, just the tool type of thing. So thankfully I had all the video done that I could lean on to talk about that again, and just generally just talk about it. So there's just been a lot. I put out 2 videos this week, which is abnormal for me.
Yeah, I did watch the Auto SR video, and I'm going to be honest, when you didn't have things labeled, I couldn't tell the difference.
On the difference between Returnal and Red Dead.
Well, I don't remember which one, but I know that there was a game, they were side by side, and they didn't have a label on them anywhere on the screen, or at least I didn't notice the label.
So,
and I was looking, and I was like, yeah, they look the same to me.
There should have been an arrow, because I zoomed in on it. But there's also Forza. Forza was from Microsoft.
Yeah,
and those aren't labeled. It's just
maybe that was the one that I was looking at that I couldn't tell which one was which or something.
So for that one, they were just doing What they were showing was that with Auto SR, it was getting like a 30% FPS boost with Auto SR. So it's like same image quality, but you got a significant increase in frame rate. That lands a little bit kind of weak when the NPU has to take the frame and work on it and wait for another frame before it sends one off. So you're that far behind. You're n+1 in latency. So if it renders at 16 milliseconds, you're effectively 16 milliseconds behind. So you have 16 milliseconds of added latency by using that NPU feature. Not terrible if you're running at very low resolutions and then upscaling. It does a fairly decent job, but it's not like a thing that you should be using all the time, and it's game agnostic. So it's kind of cool. It's like FSR1 in some respect, but a lot better, with the caveat of that added latency. But yeah, it was just the point is that I basically like had to rush that video out. I got home from work and then had to do some other stuff and then did that video, edited it, put it out, and then this week has been hectic.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Alan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find all of your stuff?
YouTube.com/Mr. Sujano. I produce a video every single day with your latest and greatest in gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news.
And most of the time, he's outside.
Yes. Yeah. I'm also,
Russ.
I wanted to give a shout
yeah.
out. Hold on. I wanted to give a shout out to both you and Cary because I'm noticing nice hardware in your background right now. Some silver plaques. So congratulations to both of you.
Thanks, man.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Russ, what are you working on, man?
So I've been trying to get this Neo Geo video out for like 2 weeks now, where I'm just going to show off my favorite Neo Geo games after the announcement of that console that's coming out. But man, it just keeps getting on the back burner. So now my next video is going to be about SteamOS stuff and Steam input and how that's all going to work. Like just a follow up to my controller video, just to kind of compensate for a couple things I missed, and then maybe explain some of the other hiccups and things. I kind of don't like making videos showing off all the bad stuff with new software and hardware because 3 months from now it probably won't be an issue. But then part of me too is like, oh well, maybe they'll see this and it will help like kind of beat that drum, and so that's the next video, I guess, is just kind of going through all the problems and solutions that I discovered when making my review video, but I didn't put them in the review video because it was 48 minutes long on its own, you know what I mean? So that'll be my next video, and then hopefully I'll get that Neo Geo going on. And then that RG Rotate, I don't know, Cary, if you got a shipping notice, but I got one a couple hours ago. So that should be coming to us this week.
Mine's coming in, yeah. Mine's coming in. I also got that same AUStar eGPU.
Oh, yeah.
And then the GPD eGPU and their GPD box. So yeah, there's stuff that I have to get ahead of.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be busy.
Did you guys see the C64 and...
Yes, the handhelds.
The handhelds from Evercade, those look so cool.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do look neat. They're a bit pricey, but I do think they're cute. They're charming. I don't think I'm gonna look at them at all. But
I'm not buying.
If it goes like if they go on fire sale, like I bought a C64 thing for like $50 or whatever. If it gets down to $50, I'll pick one up.
You could hook that up to your printer.
I could.
And he brought it all the way full circle right back to the beginning of the show, and you can't do that without just being a pro like Russ is. So we're gonna end right there. Thank you guys for watching us. Stay rad, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.